Let me put it to you this way. First of all, congratulations to Coco Gauff. She deserves it. I'm rooting for her. She's a champion now. I love it. It's a beautiful, beautiful thing. And she's been a great, great citizen and a great ambassador for the sport of tennis, and she's only going to get better.
Coco Gauff just got crowned the 2025 WTA Player of the Year. And suddenly, everyone who spent the entire season criticizing her has gone quiet. The same people who said she was overhyped. The same analysts who questioned her game. The same naysayers who said she'd fade away. Now they're all watching her hold that trophy. Have you ever seen someone's haters go completely silent after they achieved anything massive? Drop your opinions in the comments.
We're so honored and proud to have Coco with us in Studio 1A. Coco, good morning.
Morning.
Congratulations. I have to say, every time we see Coco, we run, attack, squeal, and we're just lunatics because we are just so amazed by you and so happy for you.
So, Coco Gauff is the 2025 WTA Player of the Year. Let that settle in for a second. The youngest player to win this accolade in recent memory, and she did it in a season where people were continuously doubting her, questioning her consistency, and wondering if she'd ever live up to the hype. Well, she just answered all the questions by having the best season of anyone on tour. And the haters are absolutely silent right now. Let's start with what this award truly means. Player of the Year isn't simply about winning one huge tournament. It's about continuous greatness throughout the whole season. It's about showing up week after week, tournament after tournament, and performing at the greatest level. It's about defeating consistently the world's best players. It's about proving you're not simply good, but fantastic. And Coco did all of that in 2025. Australia was where the season began, where she advanced to the semi-finals of the Open in Australia. That is her best outcome during that competition. And she got there by defeating several players in the top 10. Her backhand, which some individuals questioned in prior years, was unexpectedly being called one of the most risky shots in tennis for women. It was referred to by commentators as the golf laser because of how precise and powerful it had become. But what was Coco is very different this year. Wasn't merely her game, it was her attitude. She made a statement following one of her matches, which essentially turned into the theme of her entire season. She uttered, "I no longer strive for perfection. I'm chasing purpose." Which is precisely what we discussed her moving speech. Following Sabalenka's defeat, she would reinterpreted her definition of success. Moreover, apparently that mental adjustment opened an entirely new level of performance. The clay court season was where Coco really started proving she wasn't merely a hardcore player. She had deep runs in Rome and Madrid, participating in some of the tennis that requires the biggest physical effort of her profession. Clay courts demand a You must be patient. You require stamina. You must be able to construct points over lots of shots. Coco demonstrated her ability to perform all of that. Her semi-final run at Roland Garros was very impressive. She had a bout against EGAT, who effectively owns the Open in France. Won at this point, but Coco played with so much heart and courage that the audience in Paris was singing her name even in defeat. That's when you realize you've reached your destination. When you lose a game, but the supporters are still applauding your performance because they saw something remarkable. Regarding Coco, that game wasn't a defeat. It was evidence that she could compete with the absolute ideal for any surface. It was proof that she belonged in those huge times, and that provided her the confidence she needed for the rest of the season. Wimbledon didn't result in a title. However, Coco's the grass court season demonstrated her transformation into a whole player. Her footwork on grass was outstanding, fast, and accurate, even on the slick surface. She had deep runs, beat quality opponents, and demonstrated her ability to modify her aggressive baseline game to an entirely different kind of court. This is what separates decent players from fantastic ones. The ability to compete at the highest level on all surfaces. Then came the North American hardcourt swing, and this is where Coco actually taken control. She tore across Toronto and Cincinnati like she was playing against junior players. Within in particular, Cincinnati won the entire competition, beating numerous top 10 players in the process. By the time the US Open rolled around, she was being dubbed the favorite, which is vast pressure for any athlete, let alone a person her age. The US Open was Coco's homecoming. The Arthur Ashe Stadium was filled with admirers donning Coco's court. Now the Queen's shirts have come. The entire tournament seemed like it was built around her, and she lived up to the moment. She miraculously recovered in the quarterfinals, a dominant semi-final performance, and went all the way to the last one. She didn't win the title, but her performance during the competition revealed she has become the face of American tennis. What made Coco's season so outstanding was the level of competition she faced. She wasn't just beating random players. She was continuously outperforming the best. E.g.a. Aryna Sabalenka, Elena Rybakina, Emma Jessica Pegula Raducanu. Each major rival, every top player, Coco had important wins against them. That's what Player of the Year is about. Beating everyone, not just having one or two excellent competitions. The WTA Finals take place in November was where Coco truly sealed the agreement. This is the competition where only the top 8 players in the year compete, the best of the best. And Coco dominated. She stormed through the group stage, prevailed in a thrilling semi-final match, and then destroyed her opponent in the final. She won the largest title of her season exactly when it mattered most. That's championship attitude. Now, let's discuss the haters because they've been noisy all year. Each and every Coco lost a match, they were there. She's been exaggerated. She'll never live up to expectations. She is inconsistent. Enough. She is overly sentimental. She can't handle pressure. The critique was consistent and frequently unjust. Individuals were using unattainable criteria to judge her, expecting her to win every tournament while simultaneously denouncing her for feeling pressure. However, she is now a Player of the Year. And where are all those critics? Suddenly, they're quiet. Suddenly, they're trying to rewrite history and act like they always had faith in her. Suddenly, they're about how they were always aware of her possessed promise. It's entertaining to see after spending months, people change their minds. Being wrong. The thing about Coco is that she proved everyone incorrect by just maintaining her attention on her own path. She avoided arguing on social media. She didn't lash back at criticism. She simply continued to work and become better. And let her outcomes speak for themselves. And now her results are yelling. What makes this award what's even more delightful is that Coco isn't simply a fantastic tennis player. She's been an advocate for mental health, a champion for equality, and a role model for young athletes. She has made use of her position to discuss significant concerns. She stayed modest and grounded in spite of all the attention and strain. She's shown that you may be a fierce rival on the court and a considerate, compassionate off-court individual. For this reason, people connect with Coco in a way they don't with every athlete. She's authentic. She's real. She doesn't hesitate to display emotion or acknowledge when she's having difficulties. And such genuineness makes her achievements feel even more significant since we've witnessed the complete voyage. The highs and the lows, the wins and the defeats. The rivalries that developed this season also had a significant part in Coco's development. Every match she learned something from Swiatek. About strategy and patience. Each and every Sabalenka's fight taught her how to manage hostility and power. Each and every encounter with Rybakina revealed the necessity of precision and composure. These conflicts produced more than just fantastic matches. They encouraged Coco to become an improved, more comprehensive player. And that's the real tale of this season. Coco didn't only prevail in games. She changed. She went from being a promising young player, has potential of being one of the absolute finest players in the world. From wanting to compete with the best players to become everyone's favorite player else has to attempt to beat. That's a big shift. And the reason that occurred was she worked hard. Outside of the court, Coco continued to be a leader. She said at incidents pertaining to mental health and the challenges that young athletes must overcome. She pushed for equal treatment and opportunities in sports. She mentored youthful athletes emerging from the ranks. She accomplished all that was fantastic. Champions do beyond just winning matches. The change in perspective that Coco made shifting from aiming for perfection to pursuing purpose clearly made a distinction. When you're simply focused on victory, each defeat seems like a failure. However, when you're playing for something greater, in order to symbolize for inspiration, for impact, then even losses can have significance. That's a healthier way to approach a career, and it obviously helped Coco's performance. Based on the data, Coco's season was remarkable. Several deep runs at Grand Slams and major titles tournaments, wins over every top player, consistent performance across all surfaces. That's what a participant in a year's worth of resumes. There isn't argument, no controversy. She earned this award completely. What frightens for the remainder of the tour, Coco is still youthful. She continues to get better. She's constantly adding weaponry to her game and learning from every match. If this is what she accomplished in 2025, what will she do in 2026 or 2027? She's just getting started and she's already the top player of the year. The criticism Coco encountered this year was often anchored in excessive expectations. People wanted her to be flawless immediately. They wanted her to win, never display emotion throughout a tournament. Never strive, never have a terrible match. But that's not how sports work. Each and every great champion has suffered losses, challenges, and periods of uncertainty. The distinction is in how you react to those moments. In response, Coco had the best season of her career. The fact that she's the youngest player of the year in recent memory is also significant. It shows she's ahead of schedule in her development. The majority players don't attain this level until their mid to late 20s. Coco is doing it now, indicating that her prime years are still ahead of her. That's a terrifying thought for her competitors. The award also validates everything Coco has been speaking of, playing with a purpose instead of just outcomes. She found a means to take a sustainable approach to her profession, both efficient and healthful. She's not burning out from pressure. She's not shattered by expectations. She's doing well. Because she's redefined what success implies according to her own terms. The haters who spent all year bashing Coco are now facing a plain fact. They were incorrect. Completely, totally, unquestionably incorrect. She wasn't overhyped. She isn't erratic. She is able to withstand pressure. She does meet expectations. Within reality, she exceeded them by winning Player of the Year. And now those detractors have to either admit they were wrong or simply sit quiet and hope everyone forgets what they said. This is also a success for everyone who backed Coco through the tough periods this season. The fans who believed in her when she was having difficulties, the individuals who defended her when detractors were assaulting, the youthful athletes who appeared they all look up to her as an example. To relish this occasion knowing they were correct to support her. The game of tennis Coco now has the globe to rule. She's no longer pursuing the best players. She is the top player. She is the norm. Everyone else has to reach. She's the name that appears when someone speaks concerning the future of women's tennis. And she earned that rank through hard work, dedication, and a great season of tennis. Going into 2026, Coco will have a bullseye on her back. Everyone will be attempting to defeat her. Every match will be treated as a chance for opponents to show themselves against the year's best player. That's new pressure, but considering how she managed everything in 2025, she'll probably handle that just fine, too. Coco Gauff silenced every critic, proven every doubter in error, and turned into a participant in the year at the youngest age in recent recollection. The haters are quiet now, most likely learning how to act. They stood by her the entire time. If you liked witnessing the skeptics get proven wrong, hit that like button and subscribe for more content. And there it is. Coco Gauff, crowned the 2025 WTA Player of the Year, the youngest player to ever achieve this honor in recent memory, standing tall as a true champion of the sport. Let that sink in for a moment. This isn't just an award. This isn't just a trophy. This is the culmination of an entire season of excellence, of perseverance, of heart, of talent, and of unyielding purpose. Coco didn't just play tennis in 2025, she dominated it. From the very start in Australia, reaching the semi-finals of the Australian Open, beating multiple top 10 players, to showing a backhand now known as the Gauff laser, precise, powerful, and deadly. She announced to the world that she had arrived. But it wasn't just the shots, it was the mindset, the shift from chasing perfection to chasing purpose. That mindset carried her through Madrid, Rome, Roland Garros, Wimbledon, the North American hardcourt swing, Toronto, Cincinnati, and the US Open. Every match, every point, every rally showcased a young athlete growing, evolving, and becoming unstoppable. Her semi-final at Roland Garros, where even in defeat the crowd chanted her name, proved that Coco had become more than a competitor. She had become an icon. Her performance on grass showed her adaptability. Her dominance on hard courts made her the favorite at the US Open, and her triumph at the WTA Finals sealed the deal, making her the absolute best player of the year. And let's talk about the critics, the haters, the naysayers, the ones who doubted her consistency, questioned her game, called her overhyped, predicted she'd fade away. They are silent now. Every insult, every critique, every unfair judgment has been drowned out by results, by persistence, by pure, undeniable excellence. Coco didn't argue, didn't fight back, didn't need to. She let her tennis do the talking, and the world listened. But the story doesn't end on the court. Coco Gauff has become a role model beyond tennis, an advocate for mental health, a champion for equality, and a mentor to young athletes. She has shown that greatness is about more than titles. It's about character, heart, and purpose. She has shown the world that you can be fierce and competitive on the court, thoughtful and humble off it, and still change the game. The rivalry she faced this season, against Sabalenka, Rybakina, Pegula, Raducanu, and so many others, were not just matches. They were lessons, pushing her to become sharper, smarter, stronger, and more complete. Every challenge, every obstacle, every pressure-filled moment transformed Coco into a player who isn't just chasing others. She sets the standard. And the numbers. Unreal. Multiple deep runs at Grand Slams. Titles at major tournaments. Wins over every top player. Consistency across all surfaces. That's what a Player of the Year resume looks like. There's no debate. There's no controversy. She earned it. She owned it. And she did it at an age when most players are just dreaming of this level. Her peak years are still ahead, which is terrifying for the competition and inspirational for everyone watching. 2025 wasn't just a season. It was a statement. A declaration that Coco Gauff is not just a player. She is a phenomenon. A force to be reckoned with. A beacon of excellence, determination, and authenticity. The haters who doubted her? Silenced. The critics who questioned her? Proved wrong. The fans who believed? Rewarded with a season for the ages, a story that will be remembered, celebrated, and etched into tennis history forever. So here's to Coco Gauff, the 2025 WTA Player of the Year, the young champion who redefined success, who played with heart, mind, and courage, and who inspired millions around the world. This is not the peak, it's only the beginning. The tennis world is hers to dominate. The spotlight is hers to command. The future, bright, bold, and completely Coco Gauff. Coco, you didn't just win. You didn't just compete. You changed the game. You silenced the doubters, inspired the believers, and claimed your place among the greatest of all time. And now, the haters? They can only watch in awe as you continue your journey, because the crown is yours, the title is yours, and the legacy is already being written. To everyone watching, to every fan, to every young athlete dreaming of greatness, this is what hard work, purpose, and resilience look like. This is what it means to be Player of the Year. This is Coco Gauff. And 2025? It's hers forever.